Mr. Gathwright's age, physical abilities, things like that, do you think that the prison would benefit from him in a work capacity if he were sentenced to life without parole?
I say yes. With my experience, not only just in classification, but as former ward and even as a jail administrator, he's someone that's young, he's healthy. In reality, we need that labor, we need that sweat equity, and we will put him out there to work because we do have an aging prison population, jail administration. We have that. So we put these young individuals to work and get some sweat equity out of them since they are young and actually can do the work.
Did you just hear what that man said? Sweat equity? Think about that for a second. A man is on trial for murdering Foolio in cold blood. And if that wasn't bad enough, they taunted his mom, they went on Instagram celebrating. They turned that man's death into a punchline. And when it all comes to the end, the prison, the people who are supposed to be in charge of rehabilitating these people are saying, don't kill him. We need his labor. Maybe I'm too woke, but something didn't sound right about that to me. Okay, so for those who don't know, prison labor in this country is essentially legal slavery. And I don't mean that as a metaphor, I mean that as a fact. It is literally written in the Constitution in black and white. If you don't believe me, pull it up. It's the 13th Amendment. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime, whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States. That word, except, is the entire game. Slavery never ended in America. It just got rebranded as corrections. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. Angola Prison in Louisiana was built on a slave plantation. Same crops and same crops. Mates are in those fields picking cotton for pennies on the dollar. And if they refuse, they get solitary confinement and a longer prison stay. That's not a documentary from 1955. That's right now in 2026. McDonald's, Walmart, Victoria's Secrets, and even Whole Foods. At some point in time, all of these places have used prison labor in some form or another, whether that's somewhere in the supply chain, packaging merchandise, or even handling food. And these inmates work for anywhere in between $0 to $1 an hour. Free labor from a captive workforce that can't unionize and can't say no. What does that sound like to you? During this trial, an ex-correction officer takes the stand and provides testimony. Instead of arguing for justice, instead of arguing for right and wrong, instead of arguing for the rule of law, this ex-corrections officer argues for the prison's labor needs. He's telling that judge, don't put that man to death. We need his body. That's not justice. That's an auction. Now, here's the thing. I'm glad they caught Foolio's killer. And I want him to face accountability. And I want Foolio's mother to finally get justice for the murder of her son. But what I just saw in that courtroom wasn't justice. That wasn't a system working. That was just the prison system shopping. Socrates asked the question over 2,000 years ago, what is justice? He never really landed on a clean answer, and I'll tell you why. Because every system that calls itself just has to answer the question, who's it just for? And who is it really serving? Rome had to answer that question. Egypt had to answer that question. And soon, America's going to have to answer that question too. Justice isn't a building. It's not a courtroom. And it definitely isn't a verdict. Justice is who benefits when that gavel comes down. And right now, in that courtroom, the people benefiting weren't the victim's family. They were the ones counting the bodies for their workforce. So I need you guys to see and understand what they're doing. When these laws get passed, when they push for harsher sentences, when they build new facilities When they expand the prison system, understand what they're actually doing and who they're actually serving. They're not building corrections facilities, they're building plantations. They don't want justice. They want inventory, and they certainly don't want rehabilitation. They want a workforce. Everyone in those cells is someone picking cotton, someone sewing uniforms, someone taking customer service calls for free. That's not something new. That's been the business model. That's why in the United States, that's just 5% of the world's population. We hold 25% of the world's prisoners. Think about that. 5% of the population and 25% of its prisoners. So this is what I'm telling everyone out there. Don't get caught up. Don't think that these streets are a game, and never think that the system is on your side because it finally locked up a person who killed your favorite rapper. That same system that caught Foolio's killer is the same system standing in court asking, can he go work the fields? They only care about your pain if it meets their needs and it fills their quotas every single time. If you guys felt this, let me know in the comments. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. Until then, this is DTV. Peace.